Welcome to Cherished Childhood. Happy reading.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss. Every who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot. But the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now, please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be perhaps that his shoes were too tight. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Who's. Staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm, lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every Who down in the Whoville beneath was busy now, hanging a mistletoe wreath. And they're hanging their stockings, he snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow is Christmas. It's practically here. Then he growled with his Grinch, fingers nervously drumming. I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. All the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early. They would rush for their toys. And then, oh the noise, oh the noise, 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 noise. Then the Who's, young and old, would sit down to a feast. And they would feast, and they would feast. They would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beast, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. Every Who down in the Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They would stand hand in hand and the Who's would start singing. They would sing and they would sing and they would sing, 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 sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years, I have put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how? Then he got an idea, an awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. All I need is a reindeer. The Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. Did that stop the old Grinch? No. The Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max. Then he took some red thread and he tied a big horn on top of his head. Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks on a ramshackle sleigh and he hitched up old Max. Then the Grinch said, "Gidap!" and the sleigh started down toward the homes where the Who's lay a snooze in their town. All their windows were dark. White snow filled the air. All the Who's were all dreaming, sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first little house on the square, where the little Who's stockings all hung in a row. These stockings, he grinned, are the first things to go. Then he slithered and slunk, with a smile most unpleasant, around the whole room, and he took every present: pop guns and bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn, and plums. He turned around fast and he saw a small Who, little Cindy Lou Who was not more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by this tiny Who daughter, who had got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, "Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?" But you know, that old Grinch was so smart and so slick. He thought up a lie, and he thought it up quick. "Why, my sweet little tot," the fake Santa Claus lied,
There's a light on this tree.
"that won't light on one side. So I am taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, then I'll bring it back here." And when Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire. And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other Who's houses. 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it. Pooh, pooh, to the Who's, he was grinchiously humming. They are finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They are just waking up. I know just what they'll all do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two. Then the Who's down in the Whoville will all cry boo-hoo. "That's a noise," grinned the Grinch, "that I simply must hear." So he paused, and the Grinch put his hand to his ears. And he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, then it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. Why this sound sounded merry? It couldn't be so, but it was merry very. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light. And he brought back the toys and the food for the feast, and he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast feast. The end.
If you like this video, subscribe to our channel and hit the like button for more such interesting stories.